So, a question about what we're going to do to reduce the risk associated with opioid, um, to reduce the risk associated with opioid abuse and other drug-related problems. I think this kind of links to a question that was asked a few questions ago with respect to whether or not we're going to treat um, opioid abuse and other drug-related problems as issues for the carceral state to deal with, or in essence, do we think of these as issues that are worthy of punitive measures or of community care? I'm always going to go in the latter direction. I think that, to reiterate, every study that's been done on the question of how it is that we're going to, every serious study, I should say, that's been done on the question of how it is that you go about treating substance abuse, you're always going to have better outcomes when, for instance, you're allowing police officers to use certain opiates to help people off of withdrawal episodes that they might be happening, safe consumption sites, just sort of generally the acknowledgement that there is consumption of opiates that happens, and that when it happens in state fostered and safe areas, we have better public health, public safety outcomes than we do when that's not the case. So those are two measures that I think of immediately. I think also a general, as a general rule here, we also want to pay attention to the ways that we're using the carceral system currently to actually exacerbate these problems. And one area that I can think of in specific is the failed policy of the sweeps, right? So currently, homeless encampments across the city are subject to sweeps on behalf of the Seattle Police, on the part of the Seattle Police Department, where they're visited by a navigation team, that is well populated by police officers, among other mental health professionals and mental health professionals, and are essentially told you have 48 hours, 92 hours, whatever the case might be, to evacuate this space, which is often is not public land. That policy has been proven to not work. In fact, the Ravenna Woods encampment was swept in April of 2018. I went as a protester on behalf of Seattle DSA and also as a journalist at that point. The encampment had been swept already 2 or 3 times. In the time since, it has already been swept again. So for a total of $10 million a year, we sort of see the city enacting this sort of cyclical, tragic choreography where we're visiting places where homeless people are carving out residences for themselves, sweeping those locations only to have them go back and return. This was a policy that we started in or around Mike McKinney's last year as mayor in 2013 or 14, and it costs $10 million a year. So you have to think about whether or not we would have rather have had that, $40 or $50 million of revenue to have actually constructed housing, or were we as a city just better off lighting that money on fire? And I think that this speaks directly to this question of opioid abuse and drug-related problems, because many people who are houseless in particular are medicating because of stressors that exist from housing-related concerns. And so using our resources to actually give vulnerable populations a friend in government to provide housing and therefore provide alleviation from some of the stressors that might be driving people to opioid abuse, I think is the right way to think about this question.